Full time at Brentford, 1-0 to the Arsenal, and Arsenal go top of the league. A very good day. Results went our way. Obviously, Man City drew with Liverpool. A late equaliser from Trent Alexander-Arnold in that game gave Arsenal the opportunity to go top today, and they took it right at the death with Kai Havertz heading home the winning goal. Well, listen, it's great. It's great for Kai Havertz. It's really good for Arsenal. Any win at Brentford is a very creditable result indeed. And I think over the course of the 90 minutes, Arsenal were just about good value for it. It was not a perfect performance, as we'll get into, but today is a day to celebrate the 3 points and celebrate going top. You know, the talk before the game was all about Aaron Ramsdale. He was the centre of the focus. All the media attention was on him. The Sky, or was it TNT Sports cameras, managed to even find David Raya on the bench, even though he wasn't available for selection today, so they could cut to him when appropriate. And the way the first half was going, you did fear this might be a game where we're talking about Aaron Ramsdale after the match, because he had a couple of nervy moments, which we'll come on to. I'm so glad that we're talking about somebody else at full time, and we're talking about Kai Havertz. When he came on, you saw the set pieces coach kind of going through his responsibilities with him on the touchline, and I just thought to myself, what a moment this would be, what a time this would be for him to step up. And Arsenal, if they were having any success on the attacking front, it was with, you know, diagonal crosses towards the far post. They had the ball in the net in the first half through that route. It was disallowed for offside. They got the ball in the net in the second half. Just a fantastic moment. The way he celebrated it, the cheek, the gall he showed in celebrating that goal was a million miles away from his kind of embarrassed shrugging of the shoulders after he was gifted the penalty at Bournemouth. He knows that this is a very different goal to score, a different goal in terms of what it means as well. And hopefully it could be a really big thing for him. I liked his interview with TNT after the game. He spoke about how he's had to put his ego aside, really, and put the team in front of him in this last few months. Make no mistake about it, he has found this difficult. And I think there's been a sort of counter-narrative to suggest it's going fine, what you're talking about. Kai Havertz doesn't look or sound like a man who thinks it's been going well. But he will be so relieved to have made a big contribution today. I think one of the things that's hardest for Premier League footballers, any footballer, is when they don't feel like they're contributing. You know, I think that's where they really struggle and find it difficult. And although Kai's been playing, I think he will have known in his heart of hearts he wasn't really doing what the team need from him or what Mikel Arteta brought him in to do. He's done that today. And, you know, it's a perfect example of what we want from him. Arriving in the box at the far post, good run, decent downward header, and it's in the back of the net. And listen, you would be delighted with that. Let's start at the top. I mean, Arteta picked quite an attacking lineup, really. He moved Trossard into midfield. Ben White was on the bench. Havertz was on the bench. So we had Zinchenko at left back, Tomiyasu right back. Trossard in midfield with Rice at the base, Odegaard on the other side. Good to see Odegaard back. And then the front three were together, at least for the first hour. Jesus, Saka and Martinelli. We found it hard going, I have to be honest. Brentford sat really deep, 2 banks of 4 a lot of the time, inside their own third, denying us space, denying us the opportunity to create chances. If Brentford had a sniff in the game, it was from our own defensive lapses. And in the first half, those came from Aaron Ramsdale. What do I put that down to? Nerves? Sure. I'm sure there were nerves for him today. I've said for some time I don't think this goalkeeping situation is particularly healthy for either Aaron Ramsdale or David Raya, and I think we're seeing that in some of the mistakes that they're making. I would add as well that I watched Liverpool Man City today and I saw both Alisson and Ederson make quite rudimentary errors, and I thought, well, if Arsenal fans saw those, I think they'd really jump on them. That's not to be critical, but I think we sort of kid ourselves that at the top level there are these goalkeepers who are completing every pass in the game and never giving one away. Actually, there's usually one stray pass a game from these top goalkeepers because they're asked to do so much, because they're asked to play a game that they're not necessarily naturally suited for. Listen, if they were that good with their feet, they'd probably have been outfield players. So I try not to come down too hard on either Raya or Ramsdale when they make those footwork errors. The throw-in, I can't explain the throw from Ramsdale where he just chucks it into the ground. I mean, that's a 1,000,000 to 1 sort of freak mistake. So I was just checking I was actually recording there. I haven't got my glasses on because I'm using a ring light, and if I wear the glasses it just reflects and I look sort of like a bush baby that's been caught in the dark. So he had those nervy moments. What I would say is, after the first one, where Declan Rice bails him out with an unbelievable goal line clearance, Declan Rice, outstanding again, believe he was given the official man of the match. No surprise to me, driving Arsenal forward all the time. You'd like 11 of him, frankly. After that, his next pass, Ramsdale, was a risky but good ball on the ground into midfield. And his next pass after that, and the one after that, they were good sort of clipped passes to players in space. So I actually think he recovered pretty well from that footwork error. Did he go long more often than Mikel Arteta would like? Perhaps. But I'm not sure we suffered for it particularly. You know, I think, yeah, that's a whole other debate. The value of going short versus the value of going long. Obviously, going short helps you retain possession, but it also invites pressure and, you know, there incurs an element of risk. I understand the principle, to suck people in and then play in space, but going long can gain you territory. And if you can win, not even the first ball sometimes, but the second ball, that can be a way of generating attacking momentum and chances. So it's very difficult to prove, I think, the efficacy of one over the other. The best teams do tend to play it short, so it would suggest there is some merit to that. Anyway, we had the ball in the net shortly before half-time. Leo Trossard, it was a Saka clipped cross, a little reminiscent of Jesus' goal at Brentford last season, where he sort of headed it towards the far top corner. Goalkeeper, don't know what he was doing, really parried it straight up in the air, and Trossard bundles it in. Trossard, the poacher, but ruled out for offside. I mean, I'll take their word for it. I know many of you won't. Yeah, it looked very, very close indeed. And then the second half, we really, really struggled to create chances, to have shots on goal. And that, I think you'd say, would have been the big talking point had we drawn this match. And it looked for all the world that it was headed towards a draw. Obviously, you know, Jesus went off, tired after an hour, fair enough. But we just didn't really... We really struggled to break Brentford down. And in the end, obviously we get the goal from a similar Saka clipped cross. Should we call it a cross? Maybe more of a pass to the back post. But, you know, are we incisive enough in attack to really go all the way? I know we're top at the moment. And honestly, defensively, I think we're the best. I know our record is the best, but I think right now we are as good as anybody off the ball. You cannot play through this Arsenal team. And even if you do, you're faced with Saliba, Gabriel, Rice coming back to support them. It is very difficult. And listen, although both our goalkeepers have had shaky moments this season, they provide considerable depth in that position. You know, Tomiyasu's a great defender. White, when he plays, is a great defender. I just think out of possession we are really, really strong. In possession, going forward, in the final third, do we show enough imagination, penetration, creativity? I'm not so sure. That's a big discussion point. You know, why is that? Is it to do with the team being so structured that it becomes a bit predictable? Is it to do with a lack of game-changing individuals? You know, not all our attacking signings have necessarily worked out. Maybe Kai Havertz is going to work out. He's certainly worked out today, but until now he's struggled. Fabio Vieira, we spent a lot of money on, hasn't had the impact. Gabriel Jesus, we spent a lot of money on, has been injured a lot. I think there is a question to be answered about Arsenal's attack. But if you're a glass half full person, and I am, to be top of the league and still have questions there and still have clear room for improvement, arguably that's very encouraging. You know, this defensive side of the team has given us a real base. And I should mention, by the way, Alexander Zinchenko, who joined Declan Rice in making a good goal line clearance. But this defensive base really gives us something to build on. And maybe it will need something, doing in January. A bit of augmentation of the attack. I don't know how affordable that will be, given the current financial situation. But if we look at Arteta's history at Arsenal, he built from the back first, and maybe this season is being built from the back first. I hope so. I hope we can build on that base, because the foundations are really, really, really strong. Brentford give a lot of teams trouble, likes of Wissam, Buemo, the set pieces that they have, the long throws, the corners. We really limited them. I mean, apart from that Ramsdale giveaway inside his own box, there was not a lot. They were feeding off scraps. And I feel like we say that every game. We debate these goalkeepers, but I feel like they're asked to make so few saves. Lovely being an Arsenal goalkeeper. Come and collect a few crosses, take a few risks playing out from the back. But in terms of saves, you don't have a lot to do right now. Even when we played Man City, David Raya didn't really have a save to make. And that's a credit to the work that's going on in front of them. It really is. So yeah, really good result. Really good result. Lots to work on. Big week coming up. 2 home games, Lens and then Wolves. Top of the league at this time of year again. And it's a stronger league this time, I think. Liverpool are much better than they were last season. City don't look as wobbly as they did at the start of last season. And yet we're right there. And no one's talking about us. And we'll absolutely take that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. We need Spurs to lose. Is it Unai? Is it Unai and Villa? I think it is tomorrow. Chelsea got beat at Newcastle, which I suppose we'll take. And yeah, it's turned out to be an alright weekend. Alright guys, speak soon, yeah? Take care. Do like and subscribe and all those things. Alright mate, bye.